enough. The process was the same as he did. He just had to keep the conditions still, and admired all the traits he learned from his hard work, which consequently the option to swap them out whenever he wanted. The treasure hunting skill bracelet allowed him to find his opponent's face arm with credit. It's thanks to that skill that he could locate the slime's mana core so easily. Back in the present, Kip used this ability to dissolve the giant contaminated slime, which formed a skull-like image as it melted away. Deer shouted for everyone to be careful not to get hit by the splatter. A moment later, covered in contaminated silk, he declared that all his effort was worth it. The warrior could feel it. As blood broke to his head, that helped with the great working all exhausted. And talked about his comments that he meant to the warrior everyone else. Walk. Just like the hero. Alive. He already served his purpose. Meanwhile, he noticed that Xbox was ready. Xbox replied that he'd rather decided he needed to get out of there as fast as possible. Air. The colleagues thanked them for the level 0 monocores. They reflected that since he'd saved their lives and even given them the cores, they'd probably keep his secret. Deer, for his part, remained silent, just watching Kim. Later, in the Seonsu Force's office, the chief thanked Kim for the job, saying it must have been terrible and that he'd gone through a great ordeal. Kim confirmed it was hard work, but wondered why the chief was flattering him so much. Seonsu then commented that Kim should have told him he was a superhuman, because then he would have received a proper job instead of a simple cleanup. The warrior realized the chief thought he was a superhuman. In the world of Arcane Soul, a superhuman is someone who awakens an ability, obtaining powerful mana. In a place where strength is authority, superhuman. It made sense for Seonsu to think that he doesn't have to be a superhuman. That Kim knew the importance of his race and let them misunderstand. mercenary because she needed help. Kim said no and suggested she find someone else, but the girl insisted. She offered money in exchange that she was going to wanted to know if he could protect her on the her apartment. Kim figured that 500,000 was for a bodyguard job. Sounded like a big request, so he decided to accept. Placing his hand on her shoulder, he said he couldn't just ignore a woman in danger, and, pointing ahead, asked if they should get going. They walked up an alley on the outskirts, and the girl said they were almost there. Kim found the place very strange, as there wasn't a single person or even an ant on the ground. His suspicion grew when the woman turned into an even darker street, saying this way, wary, and turned his head to the left. They saw the window of the dodging, lost his grip on the weapon. At that very instant, Stag's legs finally just as on the shoulder track. He struck the elevator and fell wondered where he'd gone. There's no stopping. From above, Stag yelled that he'd send the warrior to hell and dove in for an attack, and rolled away. Dodging the blow. Surprised, the awakened man asked how he managed to escape, and leaped from the ground again towards Kim, yelling that this time he wouldn't get away. With a smirk on his face, Kim replied that he had no intention of dodging. He then used an expandable baton to block Stag's kick, calling him an animal. As he blocked the blow, Kim thought that it had been a great idea to make that purchase. The scene flashed back to a few hours earlier, at the armory.
Beginner versus pro. Let's test which one you are. A beginner has just the basic mechs. That's so lame. He just keeps losing over and over. Now let's look at a pro player. This guy used the Chillbot promo code when he started playing. Now that's bussin'. He got Blizz Frost, the legendary Ice Blaster. and some other sweet resources to upgrade his mech. With the crazy Icy Grip ability, this mech is totally OP. It freezes all enemies in range, while also inflicting tons of damage. Plus, it shields Blizzfrost, cutting down on incoming damage. That's a huge advantage in the battle zone.
That moment, Tim was wondering if he was working on his line of but since he was a warrior class, if he got stronger, that's why he decided that it was precaution. He also buy a class of similar back in the present, Tim is the chief character in weapons and traits of the first class. To defeat Stag, he needed to use a short-range weapon with the right traits for a warrior. With that thought, he extended the baton again and launched into a vertical attack. Kid lands a blow under his shoulder. That gains his first class specific trait, attack warrior class. Immediately lunges forward with a flurry of strikes.
Initiating the underwater base search operation, Descendant. Multiple Volga signals detected in the operation zone. Proceed with caution. Exit security disarmed. Descendant, proceed inside. Descendant, destroy the device up ahead. Multiple Volga signals detected in the operation zone. Proceed with caution. We're detecting multiple Volga signals. You need to use your hover bike from here on out. Descendant, massive energy signal detected inside the laboratory. Be careful. Operation complete. Great job, Descendant.
Receptionist, noticing his rookie appearance, deduced mused he was there to get his certificate and instructed him to use the nearby machine to measure his mana and his strength circuit. Kim thanked her, thinking that she had guided him without even having to ask, which only confirmed how much of a beginner he was. He concluded that once he got the certificate, real life would finally begin. Something strange caught him. People around him clasped their hands in prayer, announcing that the saint had arrived. He saw a single airship in the sky, and no one forming on the building's floor, recognizing the symbols of the order of the Holy Father, wondering why a stage boss would be there, since he was still in the tutorial timeline. He remembered that, although she was called the saint, the order was actually a cult in disguise that, as the story progressed, began to attack citizens indiscriminately, with people around them whispering, guessing that the saint was there for a mana measurement, hoping to reveal her level. A powerful aura enveloped the woman as she smiled at the sky, and Kim thought that this was a rather noisy mana measurement. The machine's circuits turned yellow, and soon after, the aura began to dissipate. The saint kept smiling, while the citizens prayed with fearful expressions. The result appeared. She was a priest class, with level 8 mana and a 6-layer circuit. The murmurs continued, now about the saint's 6 abilities, but Kim reflected that this wasn't the time to be impressed. He knew that a level 8 superhuman was comparable to a carrier strike group, a true walking national-level power with the strength to decimate Seoul in the future. However, if he told anyone that now, he'd be treated like a madman. For now, he decided he would just measure his own mana, but planned to reduce the display of his 6 abilities to just 3, so as not to attract too much attention. Unexpectedly, the saint turned her head and looked directly at him, transformed and back to the common was. Settled, he decided it was time to measure his mana. After the measurement bar was fully charged, the result was in. The panel showed that the warrior Kim had a mana level of 1 and a 6-layered circuit. The people around began to comment that he was a super rookie, speculating that this was the reason for the Saintess's interest. However, the warrior thought he'd drawn too much attention, since his goal was to get strong quietly. The guide congratulated him, saying she'd never seen anyone start with a 6-layered circuit, and then suggested they go get his superhuman license issued. Over at the superhuman tower, the guide handed the license to Kim, congratulating him on officially becoming a certified superhuman. He reflected for a moment on all the hard work it took to get there. The guide offered to explain the special level 1 privileges, but the warrior declined, stating that he already knew everything. He was aware of the tax reductions, the right to carry weapons, the future tax exemption with level increases, immunity from arrest, and access to all transportation and benefits. Impressed, the guide commented that he knew a lot about the subject. He joked that he was a doctor of superhumanology. Not wanting to waste any more time, he asked if there was a way to get out of there discreetly to avoid the crowd that had formed outside. The girl readily agreed, revealing that she'd already prepared an exit, which surprised Kim with her proactiveness. She told him he shouldn't worry and just follow her. The warrior thanked her for all her care, especially for giving him a stealth cloak and showing him a secret passage. The guide replied that it was no trouble to help others. With the cloak, Kim acquired the stealth characteristic and thought to himself that he'd gotten a skill for free. The guide then pointed to the exit, explaining that his could only accompany him this far. The warrior thanked her. Her help had already been more than enough. As he walked away, Kim reflected that he didn't know anything about her. Besides being helpful, he found her beautiful, promising himself that when he got stronger, he wondered what her wondered what the hell thought about all these characteristics. talk like that, suggested it's better for him to go back to his room. The man sat down grumbling, and the woman then asked Kim and the director to sit as well, since they must be considering the deal if they came all this way. Kim said that first, he wanted to check their son's condition and know if there was a special reason preventing the boy from awakening. Irritated, Yujin slammed his hand on the table, asking if Kim really thought they'd tell something like that to a rookie. Yuri intervened, asking her husband to calm down, explaining that he was on edge because it was about their son. She clarified that it wasn't something they could tell anyone, but if Kim accepted the request, they would call their son and explain the situation, adding that she was sure he desperately needed nectar.
What is that? Why? So you took the can out the trunk of your car? And that's with bacon?
No bacon.
What are you doing? Don't touch none of my trash. Give me this so you can leave. Well, who told you I was hungry? I'm not like, what? It's getting dark in this house. Mom! Alright, I'll be in your room. I love you.
With a smile on his face, the warrior explained that he was sure of it when he saw the gloves. He deduced that even though it was a critical matter for a noble family, they purposely chose to request a level 1 warrior-type superhuman. The nectar was used as bait to lure him there. Kim revealed the truth. Mr. Yujin was also baptized by the order of the old priest. The reason he couldn't awaken was because he rejected the baptism. He sealed his own mana to avoid the divine fever, all while suffering in silence, unable to publicly announce his situation. Kim deduced they must have heard the rumor about a level 1 superhuman who overcame the divine fever, which is why they decided to seek him out. Yujin was completely stunned by the warrior's insight, remarking that he was incredible and that he didn't need to explain anything further, almost as if Kim were a detective from a show. Kim, in turn, simply said it was a matter of reading the situation, while reflecting that there's nothing to fear when you know the future. The moment he saw the photo, he'd already understood it. That's because in the future, Seo Yujin would become the paladin of the vanguard for the order of the old Greek. Although he initially resisted the baptism, he eventually devoted to the order after his parents lost their power. He visited the alcohol club, the dressing room, said this was the final stage as he drew his sword. He told Yujin not to stop and to attack him until he awakened. The boy agreed, stating it was time to use the swordsmanship he practiced his entire childhood. He then took a fighting stance and attacked Kim's arms. Yujin moved behind the warrior, who reflected on the boy's power. He shattered an iron gauntlet with a simple wooden sword, and in doing so, obtained the protection rating. And so, Kim could keep him in critical condition and took a direct hit, which was absurd considering Yujin hadn't even awakened yet. The boy's sword closed in, and Kim wondered what kind of swordsmanship it was. He would have a very hard time dodging it.
do this.
Warrior. By curing the divine nature with the nectar, he also acquired the Black Flame ability, one of the best in the entire game. The new technique was added to his skill list, along with mountain-shattering sword vision. Relieved, Kim decided he'd focus on training these skills, but his phone started to vibrate. He found it strange, wondering why Director Choi would text him out of the blue. At first, he decided he wouldn't do anything, would just train, but the notifications kept coming insistently. Kim opened the messages and saw a series of strange texts, telling him to get stronger and not to listen to criticism. He thought it was just meaningless noise, since the director didn't usually send texts. However, he noticed a few scattered words and capital letters that formed a hidden message about escaping the gang. Kim realized the director had been captured by the Dagger Gang, a group that opposed the Iron Fist gang. He reasoned that if Choi had wanted to betray him, he would have called to stall for time. The message meant the director was caught first, probably while trying to get the equipment. Kim was hesitant. For a moment, he thought about ignoring the situation. After all, he already had the nectar he wanted, and everyone was responsible for their own lives in Arcane Soul. It was then that a scream from a nearby alley caught his attention. In a dark room, a man was saying that Mr. Choi was pretty stubborn, since even after a whole night, he still wouldn't say where the rookie superhuman was. Choi replied that he signed a contract because he trusted Kim, and that he'd never talk, no matter what they did. The man then said he didn't want to resort to this, but Choi was leaving him no choice. He picked up an axe and asked which arm Choi wanted to lose, the right or the left, warning that if he didn't answer, it'd be the right. At that exact moment, an explosion rocked the building. The man was startled. What the hell that was? backed away, Kim taunted him, asking who looked like Fred now. Kim reflected that he didn't expect to find the boss on the fourth floor, which made the situation very dangerous, since this part wasn't in the game. And so, he managed to read the enemy's patterns. As soon as the flashbang went off, Kim had shut his eyes, predicting the flash was the standard pattern for a chain attack when entering the boss room. That's why he had time to equip his sensory and focus traits before the ambush. The boss was an assassin, and Kim would need to use all 5 of his senses to feel where the attacks were coming from. The gang boss complained that he blocked the ambush, but Kim told him not to be so surprised. Then, the warrior drew his extendable staff and warned that he'd make the assassin regret ever targeting him. Kim lunged forward and attempted a horizontal slash, but the assassin mocked his slowness and threw a dagger at him. The weapon flew dangerously close, but Kim managed to bat it away. He thought that, as expected of an assassin, the enemy was incredibly fast, and he only survived thanks to his sensory and focus traits. The man's dagger was enchanted with poison magic, and a single scratch would send him straight to his coffin. The longer this fight dragged on, the worse it became for Kim. The assassin called him lucky, and said that if he surrendered now, he'd only lose an arm. Kim told him to cut the crap and bring it on. The gang leader laughed, remarking that he could tell Kim was angry. Just as he threw away Kim's, the warrior realized the enemy was deducing his class. He was a soldier, just from seeing him use firearms. The assassin had only one chain. Raised the economy.
Shit.
Most men just accept it, thinking it's normal space or nature, but it's not. That's where Mars method comes in. It uses clinically dosed ingredients to help your body restore health and testosterone.
That Iron Fist getting in exchange for many rewards. The gang leader asks if Kim plans to create his own organization. Kim denies it and explains that the reason he called him was to say that he can have the Dagger Gang's territory. The warrior states that he'd rather be alone and has no intention of entering the underworld, so this would be the best way to pay his debt. The Iron Fist boss observes that it's an offer where he loses nothing, and that it seems a bit much to settle a debt. Kim just jokes, saying it's good that they're on the same page. As the new owner of the Sloan area, Iron Fist demands that Kim grant him one wish. Kim reflects that his request is something everyone likes to have, of his own. He explains that since he works alone, place, especially after getting his stomach injured in the fight against the Dagger Gang. The gang leader agrees immediately, since Kim helped him get rid of a rival group, and praises his directness. Iron Fist then asks what kind of house Kim prefers, suggesting a luxury mansion. Kim says no, specifying that he needs an isolated, soundproof house with guaranteed security and a training facility in the basement. The gang leader said he got the perfect property for those features, much to Kim's delight. The house was on the outskirts of Silicon, right on the peak of Geonaban, and Kim recognized the location starts to leak from the stone, and Kim begins to drink it. The water slowly regenerates him with its energy. He loves the taste, as he can feel his body healing in real time. This is the effect of the mana spring, a place brimming with power. Even characters with zero health can recover quickly by being drenched in this spring. Disappear, showing its incredible therapeutic properties. The house on Geonaban was the only place where he could access such an incredible spring. Kim reflects that he had to get here, and like a king, beside a door, and Kim approached him. He asked if business in the market had been bad lately, noticing that even the owner of the only open shop didn't seem to be doing well. The old man answered sharply, asking if he couldn't see the situation for himself just by looking around. With thugs fighting every day. It's impossible for merchants to work. Kim remarked that this was their territory, and the shop owner started cursing out the Iron Fist gang. He explained that ever since the Dagger gang was wiped out, the smaller gangs had been fighting each other daily for control of the area. Kim repeated to himself they were fighting among themselves. In the game's original story, the Iron Fist gang personally destroyed the Dagger gang and claimed the territory for themselves, which naturally put the Shinwon market under their control. felt a strong urge to kneel before the man. However, he shattered the mental control with a solid punch right to the exhibitionist's face, sending him crashing to the ground. Kim reflected that not even the same test had matched the others. Seeing their leader defeated, the members of the Navy gang decided to retreat. Kim then turned to the Steel Scorpion, who admitted it wasn't so bad. Even so, she warned him that the poison was the level of performance. Kim replied that within 5 minutes, they'd only find out when they started. Since her specialty was poison making, he challenged her to give him her strongest concoction to drink. Girl quipped that if he was to lose his life, she'd gladly help him. The Iron Fist gang member warned that drinking poison was a death wish, but Kim seemed quite confident that everything would be fine. The Steel Scorpion held out a cup of poison and said that it was standing. The warrior recognized the substance as the Pinion knockout, the poison that caused the most pain out of all the ones she produced. He commented that the smell was awful, but warned her that if he punched her, he survived. The woman just laughed, telling him not to beg for the antidote after he drank it. Kim downed the cup in one go, stating that wouldn't happen. Immediately, the poison began to ravage his body, causing him to collapse to the floor. He felt as if his blood was boiling. The girl asked him if he was feeling the effects now. He said that if he begged for his life like a dog, she'd consider helping him. Kim, however, needed to focus. He knew that his common poison resistance wouldn't work, as this one was created with special medicine. The plan was to activate his healing trait to somehow control the toxin. The Steel Scorpion was stunned to see him focus all the poison's energy into his arm. At that moment, William unlocked the poison resistance he was ready. With this new ability, he managed to control the poison in his mind. Finally, he made a small cut on his palm, causing all god. This was the artifact that granted the ability behind the dark cultivation technique. Priest Kim was shocked that it had actually worked, while the warrior celebrated, saying it was excellent. Curious, the priest asked if that was a mana technique, but the warrior just thanked him. Next, he blew the horn, and a powerful aura filled the entire room. His body began to be molded by the new energy. Kim noticed that the mana that had been wasted in his body was now being rapidly absorbed. He planted his feet firmly on the ground, feeling the incredible as if the silence of the deep North European Sea had entered his body. He calculated that in about 2 weeks, he'd be able to absorb all that mana and reach level 3 superhuman. Impressed, the priest clapped, commenting that it was the first time he'd seen a warrior-class superhuman use a cultivation technique. Kim explained that it really wasn't common, seeing his exhaustion. The priest invited him to lie down on the bed and rest. Kim agreed, saying his mind was overloaded with too much information, that he'd stay in the priest's care for a while. readily accepted, telling him not to worry, while thinking that with the priest's growth complete, it was time to start his own quest line. The next day, in church, some priests were congratulating the priest Kim for reaching level 3. He thanked them, while the warrior observed that the scale of the event was small and few people would attend the meeting. Suddenly, a man threw open the door and declared it a pitiful sight. It was the bishop of the order, who arrived asking who had given the priest permission to organize a regional assembly. The priest replied that everyone in the order had that right, but the bishop retorted that this only applied to normal priests, not to apostates. The young man questioned the accusation, and the bishop explained that it's impossible to level up so much in just 3 months with common methods. Okay, interesting. He just pulled in every screw automatically. Just like that. 0 to 30 in seconds. Satisfied. He accused him of having sold out his brothers to resist. They are either expelled or suppressed. In other words, Kim would no longer have to worry about being ambushed during his training. With the new items in hand, he decided it was time to have some fun training in the Mana Spring bathtub. Sometime later, Kim rose from the water, completely thin and visibly tired. Kim complained that he might have trained too much, to the point where the Mana Spring wasn't healing him as well as before. Despite this, he used the time to practice his Einar Jar cultivation technique and mountain-shattering swordsmanship, feeling his mana and proficiency had increased. Now it was time to check the results of all that hard work. Choi asked if the superhuman was okay, and Kim agreed, saying he really needed to move around a bit. Next, he wanted to know if there was a mission he could help with. The director then explained they had a complicated situation at the moment and asked if Kim remembered the first landfill. Kim said yes, as he couldn't forget that place. Thinking about how it was there, he discovered just how terrifying Arcane Soul could be. The director said that an entire cleanup crew was sent there and didn't come back, which meant there were at least 6 mutants in the area. Kim asked about the Keepers Association, and Joy explained that the public officials gave them permission in secret to prevent the situation from turning into chaos. Kim commented that some people would definitely be fired if the news got out. Because instead of
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Did you play the game?
Yeah. Oh, it's alright, give a day off. So I took it since I'm not gonna be at work without my ID, driver's license. You know what I'm saying? Went back with it. I wouldn't have made it to work if I went home. Well, I wouldn't. Ow. I'm not wasting that. I'm not wasting that money to go back and forth from. That's damn near $100. That's a day right there. That's what I just told you about that. Why about what? If it's $45 to $50 from up there to get home, and then from down there to get, I'm not talking about minutes. I'm talking about money. Yo, now, you funny. I'm not even gonna argue. No, cause you look, man. I swear, you doing this shit on purpose. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. You trying to get me piped up. But yo, I was about to be too. I'm like, wait a second. This a ploy. You trying to get me? She trying to get me. You funny as shit. You think you're cool for that? You're not. You are not legit for that. That was not legit. What you tried to do? Yeah, what? Who quit? Yeah, I got home quick. Oh yeah. I know. You seen the notification? I know. You get a notification every time I'm on that joint. Yeah, they say how long I was on there and what time I got on there. Okay. You need to stop tracking. So you need to stop tracking. Stop locking in. You said what? What'd you say? You said what? Mom, Ariel says she's pregnant. Again. What was that? It's not mine. You said what? You said what? Wait, where you at? Where you at? Where you at? Oh, why you playing? Why you playing? Oh. What you talking about? Oh damn! This whole conversation gave me a shitload of gas. What'd you say? I don't know what you talking about. Oh, I'm playing again. This time I ain't got nothing to do. Got a lot to say to me. You always have something to say to me. by myself. I feel so good.
Nigga, you are not by yourself. Looks momentarily you are, but you are not actually by yourself. Shut that shit up. That shit weak.
Reload.
What you talking about, man? For what?
Sending.
That's another what? Um, so, wait, you want me to be your baby? I'm gonna have your baby? You said I'm gonna have your baby? Wait, make that make sense. Oh, you're gonna feed me. I'm gonna take a shit. That's what you're saying. Yeah, it's gonna be a turd. That's the only way anything's coming out of me. Hey, I don't want another one with you. Get you even more crazier than what you are? Man, I'm not a psycho. Why'd you hang up on me? Yeah, why'd you hang up on me? Pull over. Said what? They're so mean to me.
sit down. Sorry.
Yeah.
Tell me.
I need to talk to somebody higher up.
Hey, me too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Man, we do a lot of work and a lot of stuff with these people.
Our people.
Huh?
Who's these people?
Oh, we're the Builders Association.
I'm not a builder.
Oh, I'm looking at it.
So I don't know what these people are.
Yeah.
I don't know what these people are.
But you, we don't stay with them.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about.
Stay with these people.
Have a good day, George.
Huh?
Have a good day.
Is that coffee? Yes. It is.
Yo, why would you say that to him? Say chum. Chum. Say chum. Yeah. It's a natural.
We already know. They do. Yo, you can't have a, you don't want to set the human being from
I bet.
You do. You will.
I know. Look how you feel.
Treat you like shit.
Say.
Consider stuff. Definitely. It's the fuck okay.
Oh shit, wrong one. Fuck, wrong one again.
Probably be something that you ate. Oh, oh. It's probably, it's what's still there? Or the rooster? Or the machine? The mother was into it too. Yeah, see more than one. I should have six to have about how long was her kid already. Only the two.
Hey,
Why you sat there and looked at me? Why you looking at me? Why you looking at me? Wait, Lincoln. Oh, oh. Yeah, no, he's the Lincoln.
I'm sorry.
You're fine.
You have me one shot.
No,
God, honey. No cookie in there or anything?
no, I mean, I'm not the person. Who you
Beg
think?
your pardon?
I'm with me.
Okay.
I'm with me. I don't want to worry.
Okay.
No, it's here. I know. So you're breathing on the head.
Look at the cookies.
Here you go.
Two.
Yep, that's it.
And I have a mint too.
I'll be so. Let me see if I can find some. It's really no, you cannot.
Okay.
Let me get you one of my cars. Yeah, let me get you one of my cars. So, I don't have them right here. Oh, good. Sit right there. Yeah. I'll give you some cookies. Are you want some, hear that first? So annoying.
Yeah. Anything I drink besides water?
Oh, no, that's all I got, honey.
Coke or anything?
No,
What do you have?
nothing but water.
Just water?
Yep, water. It's so annoying, bro. What? Frankie. Frankie is terrible. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was annoying. Only ate the only thing you can be 18. This motherfucker, he's bleeding. I don't know. I think they took on his coat. Because I think they did the white boy, doing somebody of his. Had on her bag with coat and, was it yo-yo? That's like the yeah, that one. And a whole bag of it. You only have 2 of those little chocolate things. I think we're going to get those. Oh, yeah. But yeah, coats too. And everything was stuff you want. I know the motherfucker got the motherfucker on. They have clients. Yeah, sure.
sure as far as you have a phone number for me. For you, I was the builder. She was set everything up here. Won't be have a home phone number.
It's computer down right now.
Well,
It's computer down right now.
down when it'll be up.
I don't know. I'm not IT. I don't know. I'm not IT. Oh, let's go eat your cookies. Go relax. How you get
Get help or something or COVID.
Oh, you have it.
Yeah. No COVID.
No.
Like you.
No.
Emphasize number.
Yeah. Damn. I'm sorry. Henry is hard. He's hard. Man. He see about one thing.
You know, in that phone.
We're gonna have to move it.